I've lived in California. I've lived in Texas. I've lived in the Carolinas, Florida, Alabama. Anyways, I have lived in a number of states, so I can't just say, well, it was just that, that one state. That's how it is. So I think I've gotten a pretty good feeling of how that is. And my experiences, even in visiting Mexico, for example, is that there is just so much more of a sense of community. And seeing families at night in Mexico in the parks with their children and things like that, you just don't see that in the United States.
Welcome to Live by Design Mexico Edition, the podcast about creating freedom, adventure, and a life in Mexico that truly feels like your own. I'm your host, Taniel Chemsian. If you've been dreaming of warmer days, smarter investments, and a future designed on your terms, your journey begins here. Every week, we dive into stories, insights, and strategies to help you make Mexico not just a destination, but a new way of life. We've got so much to cover today, we had to split it into 2 episodes. So settle in and don't miss a moment. Don't wait for life to happen. Design it. And it starts right here. What are you hoping to find in this stage of your life that you feel or you felt like is missing in the United States?
I think I'm looking for that sense of community. What I've found living in the United States is just that, people build high fences here. You don't know your neighbors, not everywhere, but in a lot of places in the United States, it is that way that I've encountered. And I've moved a lot. I've been pretty nomadic in the United States. So I've lived in California. I've lived in Texas. I've lived in the Carolinas, Florida, Alabama. Anyways, I have lived in a number of states, so I can't just say, well, it was just that, that one state. That's how it is. So I think I've gotten a pretty good feeling of how that is. And my experiences, even in visiting Mexico, for example, is that there is just so much more of a sense of community. And seeing families at night in Mexico in the parks with their children and things like that, you just don't see that in the United States. So that is something that I'm excited to be a part of.
Vallarta, we have the boardwalk, the Malecon, and then right in front of the parish, Guadalupe Parish, there's like a little this gazebo, and people go there in the evenings, families on the weekends. Sometimes there's musicians, people are dancing, having a great time, just walk on the boardwalk. They're not on their phones. They're just enjoying. It's family time, especially on Sundays. Sundays are family days. So they go to the beach, they go out, they're enjoying themselves. So it's a very close-knit community, and they're very, very welcoming, which is really lovely. So. Yes. Now, did you have any fears that you had to confront or let go of before making this decision to move?
Yeah, I definitely had to face a lot of fears. And I actually, this journey, which I think is important to say for a lot of single women who often are terrified at the thought of doing this alone. But there are a lot of widows out there, and there are a lot of people like me who are divorced. So when I actually first thought of doing this, I thought I would be doing this with my ex-husband, who's Puerto Rican, by the way, too. So, he's especially, that culture, any Spanish-speaking country is second nature to him. So we always thought that we'd be doing that together. And although we're great friends today, I'm sure he'll come visit me in the places that I visit. When I got divorced 2 years ago, I had to really think about if this was something that I still wanted to do as my own journey and as a single woman, or if that I would let my fears just kind of put me in a vice grip and say, no, I can't do this by myself. I thought I'd be doing this with a partner. So that was a big thing that I had to really change that mindset on. Yeah, that's definitely the fear of doing it alone and just thinking about.
So how did you overcome that fear and kind of overcome that emotional hurdle?
I watched a lot of other people traveling, both couples and single men, single women. And I think seeing that, I saw myself in them. And I thought, they don't have anything that I don't have or can't have, just seeing other normal people that didn't have any special skills or abilities out there doing the same thing. And some, especially seeing people going to countries where they don't speak the language, going to Thailand and going to France and going all over the place, but especially to some of the top countries right now that people are really loving, Portugal, for example. and seeing people going there with just maybe taking a little Duolingo before they left, but that's about it. And attacking it head on and thriving, getting there and taking classes and really trying to get immersed in the culture and the language. That seems to be one of the most important things that I see as helping people to be successful in their moves abroad. So that helped me watching other people, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and that's one of the reasons why we do this podcast, is to speak with people that have actually made the move and to talk about what were their challenges, their fears, their doubts, the whispers, the news, the family members telling them they're crazy, and how, what was that?
I said, sorry, the little voices in your ear. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. And then all of a sudden you're second guessing, you're doubting yourself. Oh my gosh, am I really making a bad choice? And you know what? You never know until you try. That's basically it. No one said to you, okay, look, Alicia, if you go to Mexico, you can never come back. You can never leave Mexico. This is it. It's a one-shot deal. That's not the case. Go there, give it a try. And it might work out for you. It might not. It might be a 6-month thing, a year thing. You're like, you know what? I've had my fix. I think I'm ready to go somewhere else. Maybe it's to go back to the States, or maybe to go to a different city. But if you don't give yourself that opportunity, do you really want to risk 5 years, 10 years down the road, regretting the fact that you didn't give yourself that opportunity? Right?
Yeah. That's the biggest thing I think that helped me get over my fears, was thinking about those regrets.
Yeah.
And I think for a lot of other people that are our age, the Gen Xers that are looking at trying to look at early retirement, can they do it? Can they, instead of waiting another 10 years, could they do it if they just cut back in certain areas and tried it? I think regret is the worst thing in the world. Yeah. And I think I looked at, where would I be 5 years from now if I just stayed put and stayed where I was in Mississippi with my kids already gone off to college and doing their own thing, and stayed there as an empty nester because of fear, and thought every day, like, I could be doing this. I could have done this if I hadn't let fear hold me back. That really prompted me to just say, get over it. Look fear in the face. I've heard people say, just kick fear in the face. So I kicked fear in the face and just did it.
Well, you know what? A question for you then. You said these 5 years. Let's say you did decide to stay. What would 5 more years living in the States, in Florida or Mississippi, what do you think living there another 5 years, looking into the future, 5 years down the road, what would that look like to you?
It would have crushed my soul, Taniel. It honestly would have. And I don't know how much politics you like to get into on your show. I definitely don't like to talk.
It's up to you. You can talk about whatever you want. I'm not.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I will just say that under the current administration, I've just never experienced that as an adult in the United States. It just really, every morning, I just have gotten to the point that I get up and I don't want to see the news. I don't want to see what's going on, but I need to. We need to stay aware of what's going on. But seeing what's going on in our country right now, it just is oppressive to me. It's affected my mental health. It really has. And I feel like, to save my own mental health, one of the things that I need to do right now is to get out.
Yeah. And what would you say is the most rewarding part of pursuing this dream of moving to Mexico?
I see the next generation, and I see in my kids. I think that's one of the biggest things, one of the biggest gifts I think I can give to them, is for them to see me do this. And my daughter actually told me the other day, this is her last year in undergraduate, and she's planning to go on to law school. And as just a high achieving type A personality, we always just thought she'd just go right through. But she just recently told me, Mom, I've decided I'm taking a gap year. And before I go into law school, I'm going to take a year and teach English as a second language. We're not sure where yet. She's thinking maybe somewhere in Asia. But she said, I never would have done this if you weren't doing what you're doing. And I thought, I've done something right as a parent to pass that on to her. So yeah, my kids.
Well, you know what? That shows great strength. You're an inspiration. And, kids do look up to their parents. And if you've got the courage to do it, why can't I? Right? And that's really what this is about, is showing people, look, it's not impossible. Don't believe everything, you see, hear, read. Do your own research. Like you said, you went on YouTube, you listened and watched other people who've made the move so you can make an informed decision. And that's really important. And so many people feel stuck. Stuck in a relationship, stuck in a job they're not happy with, stuck living somewhere. So for those that are back in the States and Canada who are listening or watching this podcast and are feeling stuck, what's the first step of encouragement you feel like you would give them?
I'd say reach out to somebody, because if you're feeling stuck and the people you're feeling stuck with may not be supportive of something like this, and this is what you're wanting to do, for example, you can talk to them all day long and that's not going to help you. It's probably going to bring your spirit down more than anything else. You need to talk to someone like me, someone like Taniel, those of us that are out there doing this. And, it's one thing to watch people's YouTube channels and different podcasts and things like that. But I think those that can reach out, most of us are available through email or through a phone call or different things like that. There's a way to really connect on a more personal level. And that's what I would say to do. Find somebody who you look up to. Find somebody where you want to be and really connect with yourself. Anchor yourself to them. And that's where you're going to get out of the position you're in right now. Yeah. Talking to the people that are surrounding you, that are the ones that are making you feel stuck, that's not going to help you.
Yeah, exactly. There are a lot of professionals out there here in Mexico that we've interviewed that they help foreigners make the transition to Mexico, from immigration specialists to attorneys, real estate agents, vacation rental agents. They're there and they help a lot of foreigners. So you just have to do a little bit of digging and do some research. If there's anybody out there who's thinking of moving to a certain city and we've interviewed an agent from that city, just reach out to us. We'll be happy to connect you to those professionals. And for you, Lisa, so you're young. So what are you going to be doing in Mexico? Are you just going to, there you are. You're going to get bored. Are you going to open up a business? What are you going to do?
Absolutely not. I would never be bored. I have a YouTube channel that I decided to start a year before leaving the United States, because I thought that might be a fun way to look back on my journey and maybe help others to kind of catalog and see what it took for me along the way of downsizing and selling my house and doing all those little things to be able to move to Mexico. So I have that. And so I've kind of started that whole brand of travel with Alicia. And that is so fun. I'm learning so much with it. And that fills time for me. And I do a little bit of consulting, and I really have decided, as I've done this along the way and realized people reaching out to me need so much help, that I've already been doing some of the things, Taniel, that you mentioned. Just by people that I've met, I've been able to say, oh, this person can help you because, I know they're in Mexico City, for example, and that's where you want to go. So connect with them, and things like that. I realized could be something where I really could feel of service, and that I would really enjoy doing, is helping other people that were where I was maybe 5 years ago, and kind of help them to get to where I am now and where others are down the road. So I'm really enjoying that. And then of course, my passion for animals is going to be with me no matter where I am. So I know in Mexico, there are opportunities in any city that I live in to get involved in working with and volunteering in animal rescue work. So I'm going to be doing quite a bit of that as well.
Yeah, they have the SPCA over here, and it's pretty big in Vallarta. Alicia, what are some of the top questions people are coming to you with in regards to moving to Mexico?
It's that fear, honestly. Sometimes it is a lot of that, just fear, and trying to help people to realize that what they're seeing and what they're hearing is not what it really is. And so I think for some people, that's what's holding them back. For other people, it's their material possessions, which, like you and I both have said, at the end of the day, you will not miss. Yeah. And I know it's harder for some than others. And if it means if you don't know where you want to go yet, for example, if it means renting a storage locker to put everything that you love and cherish in, so that you can go to Mexico and figure out where you want to live, then by all means do that, because I definitely recommend that to pretty much everyone. Is go. Mexico's a big, beautiful, amazing country with so many different climates and just so many different things in it. So just picking somewhere on the map because you heard somebody say it was nice is not the way to go. In most cases, you'll find that that's really not where your heart is. Once you get there, you may find somewhere else So yeah, just do what you need to do to get there, I guess.
And the people that are reaching out, age demographics, are you finding a lot of baby boomers, younger people, singles, couples with kids, families?
I do. I'm getting that as well, even though, my stuff is really geared more for people 50 and kind of 55 and over bracket, but I am getting quite a bit of that. And I am so impressed the more that I am seeing the younger people, what is that? What is that called? The 30 somethings. What are they?
Gosh, are they millennials?
Millennials. Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay. So millennials, how many millennials are out there doing this? And it honestly makes me punch myself that I didn't do it sooner. There were a number of times when my kids were little and as they were growing up where there were opportunities that came my way or came to my ex-husband's way where we almost thought we were going to leave the U.S. And I so wish I would have done that and instilled, international culture in my kids at a younger age. So I love that. And when people approach me, I always encourage them and tell them how great I think that is for them to do it, even at a younger age. But it does seem to be more people our age. I'm getting a lot of our Gen Xer people that are wanting to do it. And I think the thing holding them back the most is jobs, family, kids maybe not quite settled in where they're at and feeling that guilt. They feel that guilt of like, oh, should I leave? Or, oh, I don't know if I should go or not. So I get quite a bit of that as well. So just trying to encourage people and to help them realize too, I've had a lot of online jobs myself. And I know there's so much of that out there for people. And so not to let a job, for example, hold you back. If your desire and your love is to be somewhere else, don't let that 9 to 5 hold you back. There are so many other options out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, give yourself that opportunity and chance to explore these options. Otherwise, you don't want to live a life full of regret. That's the worst thing, when opportunity has gone by and it just eats you up, the fact that you didn't take up on that opportunity, that chance when it was right there in front of you within your grasp.
Yeah. And our health, I just thought of something else as you asked that. I get a lot of people coming to me worried about healthcare in other countries, which cracks me up, honestly, because our healthcare in America is not the best. And I myself have a number of chronic health conditions. So even that prompted me to say, I want to go now. I don't want to wait 10, 20 years and not know where my health is going to be at that point. But even with those chronic health conditions, I know Mexico has good health care. And for a number of people that are worried about that because they have this doctor here, this specialist here, and that's what's keeping them back. And I just encourage people to say, that should not be keeping you back. There are incredible doctors in Mexico, many of who have been trained in the United States. I'm sure you can talk to that in Puerto Vallarta.
Yes.
But do not let that be the reason that holds you back is your health, because in many cases, people get to Mexico. This is one of the things I think encourages people the most sometimes is it's such a walking country. Almost all of the cities are set up so much for walking, and we don't have that here in the United States either. So there are so many people that go to Mexico that are overweight, for example, and have health conditions that sometimes are attributed to being overweight or obese. And they lose 50 pounds in the first 6 months of being in Mexico, get off their high blood pressure medications, get off the insulin in some cases. And I mean, talk about freedom to be able to have that change. So yeah. A lot of good things out there with healthcare.
Alicia, is something you brought up about blood pressure medication.
Okay.
And I brought this up on a couple of the podcasts. I had a Canadian client, husband and wife from Victoria, Canada.
Okay.
They moved down here. Gosh, I think this was maybe around 11, 12 years ago. And they bought a condo in the hillside, in the Amapas hillside area. And just from going on their morning walks, within a couple of months, the husband was off his blood pressure medication. So
love that.
Nature is very therapeutic, or just going out for a stroll. You don't have to jog or run or do a marathon, just outdoors and just walk at a decent pace. Yeah. In a couple of months, he told me he was off his blood pressure medication. So there's something to be said over there. So Alicia, before we wrap up, now one more question. What's one question everyone should ask themselves before deciding how they want to spend this next phase of their life?
That's a great question. And I think the healthcare thing we just talked about is one of it. Do that when you do that self-inventory of where are you at now? Where is your health? Where is your mental health?
Mental health.
Where are you at financially? Just checking through all those kind of things. Where are you at right now? Where do you want to be? And if looking at a place like Mexico falls in line with some of those things that you can check off and say, I could think that this would be better. There's a chance this could be so much better in a place like Mexico. Then do it. Just absolutely do it.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Lisa. Hey, and if somebody wants to find you on our YouTube channel, what's it called?
Sure. They could just go to Travel with Alicia and just go there. And then you can find my email and other ways to connect if you want to connect with me on a more personal level. But Travel with Alicia.
Okay. Alicia, so in July, you are on your way to Mexico.
I'm out of here.
You're out of Florida. So what I would like to do is to reconnect with you in a few months. And let's talk about what's happening in Mexico. Mm-hmm. You know, you're in Florida.
Yes.
So from Florida to Bacalar, let's talk about what you've experienced. What's it like? Are you still loving it? Are you not loving it? Are you planning on? Hey, we got to find out.
I
right?
know I'm going to be loving it.
We got to do a follow up. The viewers are expecting it. So thank you so much, Alicia. This has been wonderful. Thank you for sharing with us your journey. And I wish you all the best. And I'm going to reach out to you in a few months.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Take care. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Live by Design Mexico Edition. If there's a topic you'd love for us to cover, email us at info@tanielchemsian.com. We'd love to hear your ideas. And be sure to subscribe, share the show with a friend, and join me each week as we explore how to create freedom, adventure, and live by design under the Mexican sun. Design your days now, and your future will follow.